Cancel culture and woke culture, or accountability and being conscientious. Let's talk about the miseducation and spiral of Kanye West real quick. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Coffee Rhetoric. I am your intrepid and opinionated hostess, Tiffany J. Back with another short, little, quick thought about a thing. Um, so let's hop right into it because I want to make this really short. A topic I've been trying to avoid, but I might as well go ahead and launch right in. Everybody is talking about um, Kanye West and his apparent spiral. And, things seem to be getting worse. What's the problem? I don't know. Honestly, I think we all do know. But when I say what's the problem, I mean other than the obvious, you know. But Kanye has kind of been on a spiral for a while. No matter how many of us, and by us, I mean folk, us, um, no matter how many of us try to deny it. Yes, he's been on a spiral for a while. He's been on that fuck shit for a long while.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
So let's try to unpack this as quickly as we can. Now, this time, Kanye's spiral seems to be coming with a heaping dose of career suicide, because now he's added anti-Semitism to his repertoire. And so we all know that that is never okay. So now and also I don't have any notes, so I'm just kind of rambling off the cuff here. So please bear with me.
Girl, you got to say it.
But I noticed lately, I'd say over the past 4 years or so, it seems like he really starts revving it up around election season, doesn't he? I know he did that during the presidential election. It's almost like he starts acting out and serving as almost a distraction, and he really starts revving things up, and then Fox News pundits really get in there, and they get in there and want to use him as some sort of a pawn, uh around this time where they really just kind of want to start upending things and distracting people, and spreading misinformation, and wanting to gaslight the Black community. I noticed that he really starts cutting the fool around this time, and he willingly allows himself to be used as a prop. So yes, that's just my observation. I mean, he cuts up all the time, but I notice he really, really starts acting a ninja ass fool with when we're in the midst of some really heavy pressing kind of social and political issues. I notice it's Kanye, he's the primary one, but I notice um men of the community, and by men of the community I mean Black men, Black men with that level of celebrity and clout and or money, they really start acting out around this time, and taking all kinds of L's. You've had in the past, you've had Ice Cube do it. You've had this time, of course, you've had Kanye leading the fray. You've had people like Ti. And this time, you have Herschel derp-faced Walker.
At one time, science said man came from apes. Did it not? Well, this was interesting though. If that is true, why are there still apes? Think about it.
You know, now you're getting too smart for it.
No. Think about this.
Kanye, and now Killer Mike. You know, Black men of this ilk really decide to start having pissing contests, and it's like, hold my beer. Let's see which one of us can cut the fucking fool and get in front of the cameras and causing all these dust ups in the political sphere.
Look what I can do.
You know, and it's frustrating, but I want to kind of focus on Kanye for a second, because I know since his anti-Semitic rants, public rants, and saying that he wants to quote unquote go DEF CON 4 on the Jewish community. Yeah, it's just really disheartening to see. And it's like the Jewish community, they're not having it, and rightfully so. I want to choose my words carefully here, because it's like I never know what you can and can't say these days on YouTube. Even when your commentary is relatively benign, it's like, can I say the word Jewish, or do I have to say the J community? What can I say? So if I'm stumbling around, please bear with me.
Girl, you got to say it, sing it.
But in any event, you know, Kanye has been on an anti-Semitic tear these past several days. And it's like, you know, it's never good when you have Tucker Carlson and Candy Owens co-signing your fuck shit. But again, I think they're just using him as a pawn, and he's always ready and willing to tap dance on the wrong side of history. But in any event, you know, Kanye is always tap dancing on the wrong side of history, and gleefully so. Like with the whole proud declaration of him saying that he doesn't read. Well, that's obvious, we can tell. And you know, and just him cropping up, doing all of this harm, you know, spreading misinformation, being anti-Semitic, but first and foremost being anti-Black, because let's not get it twisted. Kanye has been kind of like on this self-loathing anti-Black kick for a hot minute, from when he said slavery was a choice, and then him being very misogynistic and coming for Black women, even recently, and then him in the past making statements about Harriet Tubman.
Well, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Undermining her historical impact, just saying all of this anti-Black fuck shit. But the difference is he's come for a community of people who are not going to stand for it. So I say all that to say is, do I feel bad now that Kanye really put his fucking foot in his mouth and did it? You know, now all these people are cutting ties with him. It's starting to mess up his money. We've seen Balenciaga cut ties with him, so maybe now he'll take those hideous black grills out of his mouth. We've seen banks have reportedly cut ties with him. I've heard his personal trainer has cut ties with him. So everybody's basically saying, nah, Ninja, you done fucked up now. We're not having this. And so he's had a talent agency recently cut ties with him. And now Nike said, arrivederci, because he was making he had a really good business partnership with Nike, and even they said, even though they kind of dragged their feet with it, but because they probably tried to weigh the impact of how this would impact their financial bottom line. But I guess they figured, well, in the end, is it worth it? No. So they recently severed their relationship with him. And you know what? I don't feel bad for Kanye because, like I said, he's been on the Foolie wing for a while now. And, enough is enough. You get in front of, you get on these public platforms and you just start running your mouth and you're saying all this harmful stuff. And it is harmful. It's what I call it's not what I call, but because I didn't invent the term, but it's what's called epistemic violence. You get on these platforms and you start gaslighting communities. um you start saying all this harmful stuff, you start spouting all of this disinformation. Like recently he also, oh, how can I forget this, he also made some very inflammatory statements about the killing of George Floyd, where he tried to say Derek Chauvin was innocent and how George Floyd died this way and not this way. I don't care whose documentary you watched. Unless you were in that courtroom, unless you examine all of the evidence, unless you were on the police force and examined and weighed all of the evidence, you don't have the right to get on a platform and gaslight that man's family. So now I believe George Floyd family members are suing Kanye or filing a $250 million lawsuit against him. So it's just like this spiral, this never-ending spiral, and it's just like, when is enough enough? When when does it end? When are you finally going to hit bottom and realize that what you're doing is counterproductive and it's toxic? And no, I don't feel bad for you. Now, the issue I have is with some of us in our community. Now, a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of commentary around the internet, on social media platforms, particularly on Twitter, especially, where people are just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, then where was all the outrage and all the severing of ties and business deals? Where was all this when he was making all of these inflammatory comments about Black people, his fellow Black people, and saying that slavery was a choice, and that saying all this hurtful and harmful stuff against Black women and things of that nature? I feel like, there's a lot to be said about the way Black folks, how some of us cherry pick and some of us are very just kind of disingenuous and selective with our outrage. Now, where was all of this stuff when he was saying all that stuff against his own community and gaslighting his own community and pedestalizing whiteness and the institution of whiteness? Because honestly, I think that's Kanye's primary problem. All of these tantrums he's throwing and him deifying whiteness. I just feel like it's almost like he's having these very public tantrums because he wants so badly to be accepted by the institution of whiteness. He wants to sit at the table so badly and get pats on the head. Kanye exalts whiteness. It is what it is, despite what he says, because I know a lot of the times during his rants, one minute he's gaslighting Black folks, and the next minute he's screaming, hooting, and hollering about white supremacy and, oh, they're trying to take out the Black man, and erroneously using the Moynihan report to spew a bunch of stupid, convoluted talking points about, oh, they're trying to take down the Black man and keep him away from his children. Now, you're talking about a man that have spent some of the better parts of his career deifying whiteness. It just is what it is. You had a man who exalted a white woman and spent years lusting after her and using other women as stand-ins until he could get what he wanted. And so, he gets with the woman, he marries her, he has several children with her. And now all of a sudden, when he marries into the family, he elevates them and helps them become even more rich and more mainstream. And now that they're tired of his fuck shit too, and he's no longer a part of that whole scene. Now all of a sudden it's, oh, well, the Kardashians are white supremacists. Oh, they're racist. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. Oh, I gave them the culture. Then why'd you do that? It's always perpetual L's with men of Kanye West's ilk. It's like, um, you buy into whiteness as an institution. When I say whiteness, I'm speaking of whiteness, the institution of whiteness. Men like Kanye will buy into the institution of whiteness because they want to be accepted so bad. They want to be accepted by white imperialists, capitalistic patriarchy. They want in on that so bad. And it's like, you know, black men, no matter how much money you have and how much clout and celebrity you have, they're only going to allow you to have so much power. And they're damn well not going to give you anything institutional. We had a black president for 2 terms, and you see how that made folks flip out. And we're still paying the price for that anger and resentment over Obama being in office for 2 terms. But in any event, I think Kanye's issue, I think the issue with a lot of us is when we say, well, where was the outrage and the ire when Kanye was saying all this shit about black folks and black women? That essentially was up to us, because I think as a community, like I think I got off course, we like to cherry pick, and a lot of the times black folks are very disingenuous about our outrage. And we don't want to hold folks in our community accountable, particularly if there are faves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at the situation with Nicki Minaj and how her fan base kind of tries to irrationally rationalize her behavior as of late. But let's stay with Kanye for a second. Going forward, for years, Kanye has been acting a ninja ass fool for years. And, a lot of times people are just like, oh, well, he hasn't been the same since his mother passed. But let's keep it real. Kanye's kind of been an asshole since before Miss Donda dearly departed this realm. Okay, so let's keep it real. He's always been a jerk. He's always been making these inflammatory, misogynistic, colorist comments and saying questionable things during interviews. He's always been an asshole. Now, I'm not saying that there's a timeline on people's grief, but I'm just saying that excuse that just doesn't fly anymore. Also, people they've tried to attribute it to mental health. Oh, well, he has bipolar disorder. That may be true, but having a mental disorder and being a shitty person are not mutually exclusive. You can have bipolar disorder or whatever other mental disorder, but you can also be a shitty person. And I feel like leaning heavily on mental illness as the sole excuse, it just comes across as kind of ableist to me, because there are plenty of people grappling with mental illness who do what they need to do to keep their mental health and wellness on the up and up. They take their medicine. They manage. They go to therapy. They manage to be productive members of society, and they don't act like Kanye West. They don't get on public platforms and spew hate speech. Now, so again, I feel like the fact that when we ask, well, where was all of this cancellation when Kanye was saying all this stuff about Black folks? It's because Black people, like I said, a lot of the times, folks in our community, let's keep it real. A lot of us, we like to coach, and by the way, I'm not talking about me, but when I say we, I mean just in general. A lot of our folks like to co-sign fuck shit. We do. So now, all of this ranting and raving and all of this word salad Kanye gets on these public platforms spewing, it's almost like you have Black folks saying, oh, people just don't understand Kanye. He's a genius. How, Sway? How is any of what Kanye is saying genius? It's not genius, it's fuck shit. And I don't even want to call it ignorance, because I feel like he's very deliberately ignorance is someone who doesn't, they're saying things and they don't realize or know what they're saying. He's very deliberately getting on these platforms and getting on his social media accounts and just spewing nonsense and putting toxicity out into the world. We're in the throes of already a very tumultuous time, in a very, very tumultuous political landscape. And yet and still, he's opted to use his celebrity for evil, his influence for evil. And now, a lot of people are saying, oh, woke culture this, and they're trying to cancel a Black man. No, this is what happens when you finally need to be held accountable for the harm you do to people, places, and things. And, it would behoove us to perhaps take an example for how the J community, I'll say, because again, I never know what I can say on here, but the Jewish community have decided, no, we don't fucking stand for this. We're not going to do business with this man. We don't want him as our brand ambassador. We don't want him banking at our banks. If this is how he feels about us, we don't want any parts of him. So that is why he's being canceled, so to speak, because they're not co-signing the fuck shit. And I think, if we're truly fed up with Kanye West's toxicity and the things he's done to harm his own community, I think it would behoove us to also take that kind of stand and say, no, it is not okay for you to harm us anymore either. Stop attributing his behavior with being genius. Stop saying he's misunderstood. Stop saying, oh, he's still grieving his mother. Stop coddling and making excuses for people that harm our community. Essentially, it's up to us. And, we have a big mouth as a community. We can cancel some shit. We've done it. We do it. We set the standard for holding institutions and people and businesses and corporations accountable for how they treat us. So why is it so difficult for us to hold people within our own community who are doing harm to the community accountable? Essentially, it's up to us. And, I just don't think there's anything genius or cute or funny about the way Kanye's been acting. And, yeah, so when we hop on Twitter or our Facebook page and ask, hey, where was all this outrage when he was saying this about Black people? Where was the outrage? Why didn't we finally say enough is enough? Why do we co-sign fuck shit when our faves are involved? Like, why is it okay for people, grifters, shysters, who share an identity with us to act as the authority for our community, and for them to prey on and abuse and use and harm our community, act as the faces of our community? We really got to stop co-signing the fuck shit and holding these people accountable. Kanye is not a genius. He's a wayward ninja, um, who needs to take his medication or get some therapy or just shut the fuck up and open a book and read it. Yes, I just wish, as a community, you watch a lot of these platforms and these so-called Black conscious people, um, you listen to them talk so much about getting on code as a community. And I really wish we would just start eschewing anti-intellectualism and misinformation and all of these harmful distractions that mean our community no good, even when no good shares the same identity um, with us. We start eschewing that and actually being on accord. We don't all have to like each other. We don't all have to get along, because like Zora Neale Hurston said, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But I really just think we could take that message and start kind of holding people like Kanye and like the Candace Owenses and like the Herschel Walkers accountable, and stop making excuses for their behavior, and actually get on a code or get on accord, and stop co-signing anti-intellectualism, and taking the political landscape more seriously, being informed, educating ourselves with the actuals and factuals, and just stop being distracted by all this bullshit that means us no good. I don't care how often or how many times uh, some of our people try to make Kanye's genius happen, or make it a reality. It just isn't so. Stop trying to make fetch happen. I just think people like that mean us no good. People who, you look at, Killer Mike rubbing shoulders, and like I said, you can do what you want with your political affiliations. Hey, do you? But I feel like, when you start rubbing shoulders with someone who means your community no good, all because you don't want to see a Black woman, for instance, um, have any influence or have any power, or her message of voter rights or whatever else doesn't resonate with you, and then you then turn around and you hobnob with someone who means your community no good. I just feel like, when you kind of abuse your influence, I just really think we would just take heed with how, all of these institutions and companies are cutting ties with Kanye, and we start cutting ties with people, places, and things, even when they look like us, because we do it any other time. But even when they're our faves, and even when they look like us, it would behoove us to do the same. Stop letting them speak in the name of Blackness, because I notice it's like 1 minute I'm going to exalt white supremacy, and the next minute I'm going to weaponize my Blackness when it best suits me, and when I don't want to be held accountable. I just think it's up to us to hold some of our own accountable, the way we hold the institution of whiteness and people who come for us. accountable, because we've done it, we do it, and again, like, we've set the standard for that kind of thing. So I don't think Kanye spiraling and losing all of these business deals, I don't think this is any kind of grand conspiracy against him. It's a community of people saying, fuck you. It is not okay for you to say this about us and to incite harm against our community. And again, we need to start doing that not only to non-Black people, but to people that look like us too. Because honestly, just because people are Black and we share an identity, it doesn't mean that, we share community, so to speak. So yeah, I guess that's all I want to say. Black folks, stop co-signing fuck shit. Stop attributing geniusness to Kanye. Hold people like him accountable when they do harm to our community. Stop making excuses. Stop being hypocrites, and hold some of our folks' feet to the fire when they cause harm. Until next time, ciao, bye, and keep hope alive.
You know, we used to march to get away from stuff like that. What's wrong with you, boy?